Hello, so this is going to be my first video, and this is actually going to be a collaboration with Ninja Orchids and Attainable Green, and we are going to be talking about our Zygonisia Murasaki Komachis. So this is my Zygonisia Murasaki Komachi, which I got from Trader Joe's for about $17 when it had maybe about maybe 9 less growths, so it currently has 19 growths, and I got it when it had about 11, and I got it last year in about November, so I've already had it for a year, and I've been able to observe its growth cycles through the year, and I've also had it potted in mainly the same medium for the whole year, so I can kind of speak on that as well. So first I kind of want to get into where I live. I live in Southern California, a little bit north of LA, so it is a Mediterranean climate. It doesn't get as hot as LA, so that's nice. We mainly get in our highs for summer is probably 85 degrees, but our heat waves will push us into the low 90s, and sometimes even 100 degrees, but that's rare. At night, it's currently around 45 degrees as of filming this at night on a regular, although it is going down. We're still getting like 48 degrees at night, and then sometimes we have our Santa Ana winds, which are winds from the Great Basin. There's a high pressure system there, and it pushes the hot winds down here, and so it gives us heat waves that, you know, like I said, can push us into the 90s, and sometimes we hit 100 degrees, but that's rare. Anyways, I've been keeping it in sphagnum moss. I don't know if you can really see, but so it's in sphagnum moss, pure sphagnum moss. The middle is still the original medium because when I unpotted it, it was in a pretty small pot, one of those standard orchid pots, kind of, that they sell their Miltoniopsis in, and they're bigger phals. They're not very big, and it was packed with roots, so I didn't even bother disturbing the root system because it was very good, or like very extensive. It was very nice, and I didn't want to sort of break it up to pull in a little bit of medium out, which ended up being a good idea because it didn't skip any it didn't skip a step when I put it into the sphagnum moss. It just kept growing right away, which was great. And now I'm repotting it because it's getting kind of big for my room, and I also want to see, since our temperatures, we rarely get frost. Like, I don't think we got frost at all last year, so I can grow a lot of orchids outside. I have a Hoya australis. So I have this Hoya australis. Let me just put it up here. This Hoya australis that I got from Home Depot, and 2 epidendrums, which are sad looking right now, but they're outside. Anyways, I have this growing outside. I actually haven't had it growing outside for a whole winter, but so far the australis has been doing fine. The red is from the cold, not the sun, although I do keep it in quite high sunlight. The red has only really started, the anthocyanins that you saw, they only really started when you started getting like temperatures under 50 degrees at night. So it's definitely cold related and not sun related. And that's kind of an interesting thing, because anthocyanins are not always a sign of heat stress. They can be a sign of cold stress as well. So let me get into this repotting, because we only have a couple hours of sun left. Well, maybe not even an hour. Had luck at the bottom, so it was like almost semi-hydro. And I would also have this on a plate, like a large dinner plate, that had like a perfect, like the indentation on the plate where the sides go up. It was perfectly sized for this, so it was in a little bit of semi-hydro. I was able to give it a lot more water because it really drinks so much water. Maybe because it's big or just in general. I think in general it can handle a lot of water. That doesn't mean to keep your medium wet because you will rot your plants. But definitely they don't need to dry out. Oh, here, let me show you. Let me show you the root system. So the root system looks amazing. We have roots down there at the bottom that look amazing. We have, oops, the medium's falling off. It looks great. So I'm just going to, actually, you know what? Let me separate. As you can see, I don't have a lot of space, so that's sort of dictating the large bowl. So I'm just going to separate my sphagnum, or my leca, so I don't have to clean stuff out of it. I don't have to take stuff out of it before I sanitize it. And I usually don't recommend repotting your plants outside because my salvia splendens over there, it gets a lot of pests on it because it's the only plant that I have that's really tender leaved. I grow a lot of cacti, like I have a lot of aloes. I have an aloe arborescens, and then I have some my cymbidium out here, but it's mainly the only tender leaf plant, so it gets a lot of bugs. And when you repot outside, you are exposing your plant to the pests outside. But I'm not super worried because I treat my plants with, at least my orchid collection, with an imidacloprid systemic insecticide. And my Zygonisia obviously gets that as well. So I'm not too worried about bringing in any pests. And so now I'm probably just going to speed things up because this is a lot of sphagnum. It's kind of getting unwieldy. So I'm going to speed things up and then we will resume when I've kind of probably gotten into the intermedium, which we're going to see if the roots that I did not disturb last year are still viable in the middle, or if we can hopefully just cut them all out, which would be amazing. But it would also be nice to see the roots still alive. Okay, so as I kind of feared, all of the roots in the middle are still viable, even though they have no chlorophyll because this one was kept in a clear pot, so these roots are green, or at least some of them. Also, as you can see, I damaged a lot of roots just because they were in the sphagnum and that was not being gentle, but that's fine. This one's super vigorous, and I don't think I snapped a few roots, but I only just damaged the velamen, so the inner root's still fine, even though it's not optimal, but whatever. Anyway, and you can kind of see the size of the pot that it was in, because yeah, it was in a tiny pot. Look at the baby. He weighs. There we go. And so inside this looks like burger mix actually, which is a um it's like a soil mix or a media mix um that is really awesome. And so I'm kind of worried I'm probably just gonna have to break a lot of roots because these ones, they're really not that flexible and they're really packed in here, but I'm gonna try not to. So we will continue fast forwarding and see what happens. Okay, so I just noticed that I pretty much made a division right here because it is detached from the rhizome. And honestly, two suitable divisions are not optimal, but it's got a ton of great roots down here. These ones that are kind of swinging a lot more in the front. I don't know if you can see. Anyway, it's got a lot of good roots coming out of the front, so I'm just going to try to separate this one off. Honestly, I'm probably just going to pull this one off and just say, forget the roots that are on here. Because that's just going to be easier. Okay, this is actually terrible. There's no way to get into the... So these roots are like completely interlocked. There is no... I think I'm just gonna have to like break a lot of them, unfortunately. And we'll see if that sets it back, because as of right now, it's been a no fuss orchid and it's been kept in pretty low light. So hopefully when I cut or break a lot of these roots down here, it's not gonna protest too much. it is. I'm just going to use this little knife here and just kind of cut the bottom roots because this is crazy. Or at least cut some of them here so I can get into the middle and see what's going on. Okay. Well, see, these roots are stronger on the inside. I don't know why they're so soft out here, but anyway. Okay, so here's a side that has like no pseudobulbs. So I'm just gonna like kind of cut down the middle, and all of the near roots are on the side right here. So I'm just gonna kind of cut down the middle and see if I can just, that'll be better instead of just cutting from the bottom. So I think I see now why this is so huge, because I don't know if you can really see, but there's no rhizome damage here. There's nothing broken. I don't think so. So I think this is actually two plants. be maybe cringing at the moment or at this point in the video, and I am too, but there's literally no way to pull them apart, so chop chop on this side, and hopefully that will let me sort of separate them. And I've been able to sort of separate a lot of roots, so that's great. So I finally have a division that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This has 9 growths on it. So at this point, I can separate the roots and then get the medium off, which is great. And also this inside being burger mix, which is B-E-R-G-E-R, burger mix, kind of explains why it was completely okay that that I just stuck it in sphagnum and grew it like that, because burger mix is like amazing. It's really great. And this looks like the burger optimal porosity mix. It's really fluffy. It's got a lot of perlite. It's got a lot of organic matter in it, but it doesn't really break down all that readily. It doesn't really turn into like that heavy, really thick medium that a lot of other potting soils can turn into. Okay, so